Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another one of our Retailer to Publisher webinars. I am very happy today to be introducing Anthony Boyd, who is the Marketing Director for Lucky Duck Games. If you haven't heard of Lucky Duck Games, you're probably living under a bit of a rock because they have been one of the fastest growing publishers over the last couple of years. They started with a game called Vikings Gone Wild. They then came out with the game for Fruit Ninja, and then Chronicles of Crime hit and everything exploded. I had the opportunity to meet with Vince, the owner, and he taught me Chronicles of Crime at BGG a couple of years ago, and I was blown away by how unique, how different, and just how original the game was, which was awesome. And that's been obviously one of their foundation games. But on top of that, they have a lot more going on. We're going to talk about some really cool games today. We're going to talk a little bit about Jetpack Joyride, which is also based on an app game or a video game, if you want to call it that. We're going to talk about Mutants, which is a new deck building game. We're also going to talk about Paranormal Detectives, which in my opinion is going to be one of the most hotly sought after games of Q4 this year. And then we're also going to talk about a surprise, but I won't blow that. I'll let Anthony talk a little bit about that. So with that, as a quick reminder, if you haven't done it before, or if you just need a refresher, you can use the chat bubble on the bottom of the Zoom video conference to ask any kind of questions you'd like. Feel free to ask anything you'd like. I'll work it in to find a way during Anthony's presentation to get the questions answered. But we really do appreciate everybody taking the time to join us here. Anthony, we appreciate you taking the time to join us to talk about all these really cool games and some of the programs that you have going on here with launch kits and stuff. So with that, I'll take my face that was made for radio. I'll let it be quiet. And Anthony, I will let you take over. Thank you so much.
All right, now on to my very similar face. So thank you, Scott. You had a lot of kind words to say about us, and I hope that everyone listening or watching or tuning into this here has, like you said, heard of us and has not been living under a rock. If not, it's okay. We're here to make sure that you know who we are and what we've got going on and what's coming up. So let's dive right in. So not necessarily in chronological order, except for the first thing that I want to talk about. I want to talk about a few upcoming releases that we have for the rest of the year. Just kind of have this opportunity here during this webinar to put these things in front of you guys, let you see what's going on, what the product is, why it's good for you, how you're going to be able to sell it. And we'll just, look at these things together and take it from there. So as Scott said, the first thing that we have in the pipe is Jetpack Joyride. Jetpack Joyride based on a very popular mobile game, free-to-play game. It's also made its way onto PlayStation and things like that. Really cool game. Really cool video game, really cool tabletop game. This tabletop game, a lot of people with licensing and things like that, they just like to get a good name and then throw whatever sort of board game mechanic they can on there to make it viable to board gamers. That's cool. Sometimes you get some really nice titles coming down the pipe that way. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense if you're a fan of X. Jetpack Joyride for us comes with some really interesting stories in development. We won't dive into those now, but I can tell you that the design for this game came to us at the 11th hour. We had pretty much already decided, here's what we're doing with the game, here's what it's going to look like, we're going to go ahead and release this. And then this thing fell in our laps. We tested it out, and it felt so much like you were playing that video game that we just had to forget everything that we were doing and move ahead with this one. It's a really fun experience. It's a real-time puzzle racer. So everybody's kind of grabbing these tiles and building this path through their lab as quickly as they can in sort of a race. But we're scoring points by doing things like collecting coins and completing missions. It plays in 3 rounds, and the full game can play in about 15 to 20 minutes with 4 players. And that's a really cool experience. At $24.99 MSRP, it's a good filler game. It's a good one for fans of the mobile games. It's going to be a good holiday item, a good gift item. We're super excited about this one. So,
Anthony, just as a quick note, the presentation we were looking at before is actually not on the screen as the main share. So if you wanted to share that as the...
Sure. Let me get some things moving forward here, and I'll show you guys some images of a few things that we're looking at. I'm sure.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you weren't sharing and didn't think it was on the screen or not on the screen.
Let me get you up. All right.
Perfect. Yep, that's good.
All right, great. So looking at some Jetpack Joyride. So got MSRP and SKU here just so you guys know what's going on. Jetpack Joyride is actually releasing later this month, pretty quickly here. So if you have pre-orders in, great. If you don't, there's still some time. Go ahead and contact GTS. It is part of the deal that they're running here with the webinar. You can get 52% off of that. So take advantage. Jetpack Joyride, like I was explaining the mechanics here, you've got these tiles. There's a central pool of these polyominoes, all different shapes. Everyone's going to have a lab made up of these 4 different sector cards in front of them, labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they change every round, and there's a pretty cool way in which they change. So we're saying 1, 2, 3, go. We're reaching out, we're grabbing these tiles, and we're laying them as efficiently as possible from left to right to try to be the first one to get out of our lab. Now, doing this is going to allow us to cover up these coins that we see on the sector cards. As anyone who's ever played any video game before, which I'm sure everybody possibly watching this has, coins are good. Bad looking hurdy obstacle things are bad. So you just play it that way. Get coins, avoid obstacles, and then the mission cards that you can see there in the top right part of the image. If you manage to resolve the conditions of the missions that are dealt out each round, you can score some bonus points that way. So pretty quick and easy game. Very, very fun, highly, highly thematic, tons of ties in with the mobile version of the game. So that is coming out.
Take a wild leap, and I'm going to suggest that all of our retailers know that coins are good. So.
Yes, most likely. So the other cool thing about this is, well, bad and cool. This is one of the first products that we saw some delays in manufacturing for. It's unfortunate, but it happened. So, but what this did for me is it allowed me to have some more time having this out at conventions, at trade shows, in front of the consumers and things like that. More time than I would typically have with a product coming to market to demo to fans and things like that. And I've never, ever, ever had a single person sit down and not have fun with this, regardless of their age, regardless of what type of gamer they were. It's always been a hit. Everyone's always wanted to buy it afterwards. And now with it coming to your stores, they're finally going to be able to do so. So we're excited. So moving right on, we have another release in November. Mutants here is an asymmetrical deck building game with a fair amount of head-to-head kind of combat in it, if you will. What we're doing is we're playing Psi Captains. Psi Captains are people in the future that have the ability to telepathically communicate with these genetic creations, these mutants. And what we're doing is kind of Pokemon style. We are taking different kinds of mutants, we're breeding them together to make bigger and stronger ones. So that's where the deck building is coming in. We're looking at the genes of our base mutants in our deck to build more advanced ones and, put them out there in the field to try to take everyone else down. Mutants is designed by Senfeng Lim and Jesse Wright. Senfeng did junk art. So that's a game that I'm sure a lot of retailers are familiar with. It is a pretty game. I really enjoy the way that it looks, the way that it looks on the table, and the way that the game feels. It is a more mid-weighty, slightly heavy game. Not a ton of crunch in there, but it is great for those gamers that are looking for a good horror experience, that enjoy, competitive card games, deck builders. Yeah, we're excited for this, and we're anticipating this in November. That's also available for pre-order right now. So, yay, Mutants. Am I getting any questions as I'm going, Scott? I think you're muted, buddy.
I can answer for him. I actually haven't seen any come through yet.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep, sorry, had a problem with the mute button, but yes, that's correct.
You're fine. I know how that goes. All right. And then this one we're going to spend a bit of time talking about here because it's really, like Scott said, looking like it's going to be one of the bigger hits of the holiday season. not just for us, but you know, for the industry period. It's trending to be a really huge thing. Paranormal Detectives is a competitive deduction party game. A lot of those terms seem kind of contradictory when we think about what we're used to seeing when we see deduction games or party games or anything like that. But boy, the way it comes together is really something special. Just similar to what Scott said the first time that he saw Chronicles of Crime, that kind of, this looks cool. I wonder what it's all about. You sit down and you try it and you're like, wow, like this is something. This is really great. I had the same feeling with Paranormal Detectives. Everyone I've shown it to has had a very similar experience. It's going to be cool, sweet, hot. So keep your eyes on this one.
And Anthony can't say this, but I'm willing to go ahead and step out on this. This game, when I first saw it, it was at UK Games Expo. This game is very much like a competitive version of another very popular paranormal game that's on the market. And it struck me as completely cool and unique in how it took the kind of traction of interaction and social and who's doing what and who's responsible for what. So if you've done very well with another game that is very paranormal and social deduction type things, I'm sure this is going to do very well for you as well.
Yep, I mirror that. Yeah, sorry, I can't say it. But if you're a fan of that mysterious game, which I 100% am, it's a fantastic experience for me and my play group. Paranormal Detectives is going to take that experience, but elevate it in ways that you didn't think it could be elevated. So I'm just gonna flip on over to the next slide here and show you kind of what's going on with some of the components in Paranormal Detectives. So what's happening in Paranormal Detectives, we have a player that is playing a ghost, and then everyone else is some sort of paranormal investigator, like you see on all those shows we like to watch on TV and things like that. If you do, if you don't, they're a thing. Check them out. The ghost is trying to get the investigators to figure out what happened to them. They're trying to figure out like who, why, where, how, and with what they met their demise. Now, like we mentioned, this is a competitive game. So unlike a lot of other games or that other game that we've all experienced, it's not a cooperative experience. And the ghost player is in on the competition too. So they're motivated to give good clues to the investigators, because if they can get somebody to guess all 5 of their categories right, then they're going to share the victory with that person. So because of that, we get some really, really interesting, unique, creative interactivity that we see amongst the players in this game. And boy, does it make for a really, really, really cool demo. So Paranormal Detectives, we have different activities in the game. So let's say Scott's playing the game with me. I'm the ghost. Scott's trying to figure out, for example, who killed me or who is responsible for my death. So he's going to ask me a question on his turn to try to, get that information out of me. So I cannot communicate as the ghost in ways other than what are listed on our investigator's card. So each investigator is going to be dealt a number of cards depending on the players. You can play each card once. As you play it, you ask a question. So Scott might ask, could you tell me who killed you? And as he plays that, or as he asks that question, he's going to play a card. And the card might say something like, the ghost draws the answer with their finger on your back. Or the ghost uses the talking board, which is similar to a Ouija board, but someone else owns the word Ouija, so talking board is fantastic in this case. We have some ropes that can be arranged into different shapes as one of the activities. We have a deck of tarot cards. We have a dry erase board that the ghost can hold your wrist and make you draw something with. We have what's the ghost meter. That's kind of this gadgety looking thing that you can see out on the board there. That ghost meter, you can put 3 indicators on there to indicate whether it's big or small, heavy or light, fast or slow, evil or good, loud or quiet, hot or cold, old or young, or a color. So yeah, Paranormal Detectives is so interactive, so fun. It's full of games within games. So it's super unique in taking that theme that we've seen in already some smash hits, but kind of lightening it up, making it more game night friendly without having to be all serious and gloomy. So we are really looking forward to it. So much so that we want to do everything we can to help you guys selling Paranormal Detectives. So we've put together a cool little launch kit for it that you have access to that we're going to spend a couple of minutes talking about here. So the launch kit is going to come with all sorts of goodies to help you guys advertise the game in your stores, to sell it. It's got some collateral material for your customers if you want to use it that way. So basically, what you're getting with a launch kit, you're getting a total of 6 copies of the game for the cost of 5 of them. So one of them is coming to you for free. Use it as a demo copy. You're getting a point of sale standee. You're getting a poster for the game, and you're getting a shelf talker as well. And we're putting together 10 exclusive story cards. The story cards are the information that the ghost has about what happened to them and how everything happened that they're trying to get the other players to figure out. We're packing in 10 of these into the launch kit that will only be available for you guys as brick and mortar retailers, because these are brick and mortar exclusives and they're limited 1 per store. And you're getting 10 of these things. We wanted to make it a really cool nod to retailers, and we'll talk about what we did there. And I think you guys should have a lot of fun with them. So let me just show you guys kind of the components and some of the get together. So we've wrapped up these kits. We managed to take a picture over in Poland. This is where this little photo is coming from. So what we're seeing here, we got a great big poster for you. We got the point of sale standee. You can see the shelf talker down there. The shelf talker is going to have a QR code on it as well. Fancy that. Lucky Duck likes QR codes. So that's going to lead to some information on our site, like how to play information, reviews, things like that, so that the customer can have a deeper dive into that on that shelf talker or the point of sale standee, however they want to do it. Now, if you notice down at the bottom of this image here, we have those exclusive scenarios. They're titled Heavy Euros. It is a story that is set in a friendly local game store. These are going to be, again, only available through this launch kit, through brick and mortar retailers. So, you know, you could use them, for example, hey, you ask your customers to pre-order a copy from you. They get one of these in exchange for that pre-order. So we're doing things like that to help you push the game, because we want to, you know, pay our respects to the best part of our industry, which are definitely brick and mortar retailers. So it looks like I've got some notifications coming up in the thingy. We have some chat messages.
There was a question Derek had asked, is there a 52% discount in the launch kit? There is not, and that's reason because the launch kit is designed where you're buying 5 and getting a free copy, as Anthony had mentioned, around the demo or for in-store display and things like that. So it's still a great deal in terms of buy 5, get 1, and then on top of that, getting the poster, the shelf talker, the sign, and the unique story cards as well. So that's why it's not part of the 52%, but it has its own kind of bundle and its own special.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott.
Yep.
All right. So Paranormal Detectives, like I said, is going to be a hot hit for us. I won't talk too much about what it looks like internally for me, but I can tell you that my numbers leading into this are similar to what we saw for Chronicles of Crime. Chronicles of Crime, as I'm sure nearly everybody that's going to watch this is aware, has been a crazy hit. And it's not slowing down. It's still selling great for us. It's still selling great for GTS and our distribution partners. So Paranormal Detectives is looking like it's going to be the same thing. From the consumer perspective and demand for this game, I do know that this is currently, we're releasing this at Essen. So this is for the BGG Essen hotness list. This is currently rated number 3. So we're at number 3 with Paranormal Detectives here. It's going to be very, very, very big. And we're so excited to get it to market because boy, is it cool.
And it's probably good to note, just so everyone knows, so the launch kit is, as we mentioned before, it's buy 5 get 1 free. It is for brick and mortar only, as Anthony mentioned. So online retailers don't have access to this because obviously they don't have shelves or poster walls or anything to put that stuff or use it for sure. So this is definitely a good opportunity from a publisher, providing stuff for retailers to be able to use and promote the games a little easier in store. It is a limit of 1 per storefront. So if you wanted to get more than 6 copies of Paranormal Detectives, it's actually very easy to just order 1 copy of the launch kit and then individual copies of the additional base game as well. If anyone has any issues with that online or any questions about that with their sales reps, you can always contact sales rep, let them know. And of course, you can always contact me as well and let me know. So we're happy to help you guys out.
Yeah, limited to 1 per store. The manufacturing of these launch kits is just above and beyond what we normally do through the scope of manufacturing. So what we're able to do is pack in 10 of these little exclusive scenario cards. So even if you get a launch kit, you still have more than what's available there to add on as incentivized sales or upsales for your customers that are coming in, that you order a couple of cases of this. So you can get a launch kit and a case. So you're getting 12. So 10 of the customers in your store are going to have access to this special little story. Really cool thing that we're able to do, and we're happy to do it for you guys. So yeah. Thanks again, Scott.
There was a question real quick from Kylie. October launch date. Are we pretty sure it will be in stores by Halloween? That's a great question.
I am 100% sure you're going to have it on your shelves the same time we launch it for sale at Essen.
Which the first day of Essen, I believe, is the 24th, right?
24th.
24th, yep. So that's great. That's really good news.
On time for Halloween. It is a great Halloween tie-in as well. The game is so exciting that sometimes I forget that it's launching right before Halloween, and that's how I could be pitching it too, but good thought. All right, so we don't have any other questions on Paranormal Detectives. We're going to look at the surprise. So not a giant surprise, as we have announced to the public that we are publishing this title in North America. We were just kind of holding the time frame kind of close to our chests here. But now that we know when it's going to land, when it's going to be available, we're going to look at the next thing we have, which is this amazing little game called It's a Wonderful World. It's a Wonderful World, created by Le Bois de Jeu. Is a resource, card drafting, resource management, hand management, tableau building. It's got so much going for it, but it's got the same level of accessibility as really great titles such as like Century or Seven Wonders. Very, very easy to jump into, maybe a step above that, where you're more gamer people that are totally just over games like that are going to love, this sort of thing. It's a Wonderful World is very, very exciting for us. Again, if we go back to BGG hotness for Essen releases, this is at number 5 right now. So Lucky Duck is able to offer in North America the 3rd most popular game right now for Essen releases and the 5th most popular game. So very, very excited about that, and clearly the consumers are as well. $44.99 MSRP in North America, releasing in November as well. I am hearing that we should definitely have this first week of November. Hopefully we're able to have things shipped out during Essen. That's going to be an adventure to distributors so that they can get them on their way to you and what have you. But yeah, expect this early in November, and it is such a fun, cool game. I have a little bit of a screenshot here so you can look at what's going on. Not a ton of like bloat to it. It's a very streamlined presentation. It's a very streamlined game. You go through 4 rounds, starting with 7-card drafting. You draft out what you want to build. You put that in a queue, and then you build what you can. Everyone's assigned or picked a nation in the beginning of the game. The nation gets resources, which we can see in the card in the lower left-hand corner. The great big one with the card stacked on top of it has 4 symbols down there. Those are the colors of the cubes that we see on the center board there. So going in order from left to right, that board kind of looks like an arrow. We're going to grab the resources that we're gathering based on what we have constructed or what nation we're playing, and add them to our cards to build new things. And yeah, there's just a ton of really fun things going on in It's a Wonderful World. Yes, hot as well. So
I wanted to point out too, I think one of the more interesting things about Lucky Duck overall is that they're able to not just hone in on one type of game. There's a lot of very fast growing publishers that tend to kind of lean on the crutch and lean on the thing that they know the best. But if you look at the catalog of Lucky Duck games overall, they've got games like Fruit Ninja and Jetpack Joyride that are really good, popular games for that kind of casual fan, someone that is an easy crossover from, playing app games or playing, mobile games to be able to get into board games. They've got more strategy style games when you get into things like Vikings Gone Wild and Chronicles of Crime, and of course, It's a Wonderful World here. And then they've got more social games like they're doing with Paranormal Detectives, which is really cool because it's very, very hard to find a publisher that can hit on all cylinders with multiple different types of games. Vince, the owner, is an amazing guy. He is a juggle chainsaws that are on fire guy all the time. He's always at 150 miles an hour, but he always keeps them in the air, which is really cool. So when we talk in the past about, focusing on brands and focusing on people who are established that have a good broad catalog for different types of customers and different types of stores, this is just, it's a great example of one of those publishers and one of those lines of catalogs. So
yeah, absolutely. And we definitely don't want to pigeonhole ourselves. We've become known, for Chronicles of Crime, how it is this hybrid game that's blending an app and some technology with a tabletop experience. And that's great. We're definitely going to give you more of that in multiple ways. But at the same time, we are able to provide our customers and our fans with fantastic experiences that are not that. So you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see a lot of what you already know us for coming down the pipe in the future. And because of our, phenomenal success with Chronicles of Crime that, everyone here in this webinar is partly responsible for, we are able to kind of take our time a little bit more than some other people would be able to do, and make sure that what we're seeing and what we're picking is really, really curated to be the best possible product for the marketplace at the time in which we're presenting it to you. So, and we want to make sure that we do that. I know there's been a lot of talk in the industry lately about people need to slow down. We need to have fewer releases. We need to have, more curation from everybody across the board, from publishers, from distributors, from everyone, to make sure that the best of the best is going to filter down through to retailers and to the consumers. And we're definitely doing our part to do that. We're not going to blast you with 30 or 40 titles a year. We're going to make sure that we're giving you a handful of exciting things, a handful of highly sellable things, and just great experiences for everyone all around is what we're shooting for. So I got more chat bubbles. Anyone saying anything exciting for me?
nope, there's not any additional questions at the moment, but I think we have covered quite a bit in a very short amount of time, which is awesome. So I just want to do a reminder. I put it into webinar chat. The items for Jetpack Joyride and Mutants, the item codes are in there. I'm also just about, as we speak, going to type in the item codes for Paranormal Detectives and for the launch kit as well. Again, the Jetpack Joyride and Mutants are both going to be 52% off between this week and next week, which if I do my math correctly or just look at my calendar, it is going to be the 16th. We are just now, because we just got the information from Anthony yesterday, we're just now setting up It's a Wonderful Life. So that's going to be set, or It's a Wonderful World. It's going to be set up hopefully later this afternoon. So once that gets set up, that will also be part of the 52% off. So if you pre-order that game between now and next Monday, you'll get that. The launch kit doesn't have a time frame to it. It's really in advanced pre-order of the release of Paranormal Detectives. So that's something that you don't necessarily have to order this week. Obviously, always ordering sooner is better than later. But again, you can order the launch kit as a brick and mortar store, one per storefront. So if you have multiple storefronts, you're welcome to get one at each store. And then if you want to go over 6, you can just buy additional copies of that first code that's in there, that PARR01EN. So that'll be able to help you out with everything you need there. Will there be an online restriction for Paranormal Detectives? That's a great question. Do you mean in terms of an online restriction as the launch kit is obviously not, it's not available for online retailers. That's something that if an online retailer wanted to pre-order or buy something, they have to buy the base game itself, and there's no special, there's no discount, there's no anything like that for it. But when you're saying that selling the game as a promo, yes, the promo cards, those are specific, as Anthony had mentioned, just to the launch kit and just to brick and mortar stores. So the second code that you see that I typed in there, that LKYPARS01EN, that's only for brick and mortar stores. It's one per storefront, so that is restricted and not able to be purchased by online sellers. Yep. Selling. That's a great question.
That is a great question. I mean, inevitably, that's going to happen. We've seen a lot of people, release kits that we don't want materials for on the internet. I suppose I don't want to encourage you to do that because they are a fantastic tool to get people into a store, to demo a game, to buy something from you. That's the kind of customer that these kits are designed for. However, yeah, if you're thinking about selling it online, as long as you have a brick and mortar location that qualifies you to order this launch kit, then do your thing. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the selling the game, obviously, if you're a retailer who has both an online presence and a brick and mortar store presence, like if you have Jill's Card Shop and jillscardshop.com and things like that, I'm sure that's not a problem in terms of, selling the Paranormal Detectives on there and offering the promo cards as well. So, but yeah, it is definitely a very good thing to be able to drive pre-orders in the store for sure. Awesome. It looks like that's all the questions we've got, but in case anyone wanted to get a hold of you, Anthony, is there a email that people can contact you at or contact Lucky Duck Games at with general questions and things like that?
There absolutely is. If you want to get a hold of me for any reason, I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing for Lucky Duck Games. You can contact me at anthony@luckyduckgames.com. Or to make it even easier for everyone to remember, it's sales@luckyduckgames.com. We'll reach myself or whomever is paying attention to sales emails for that day. And if you have any replacement part inquiries, you have any issues with any product that arrived at your store, anything like that, of course, as retailers, get a hold of your distributors. They're there to help you with that sort of thing. But it's info@luckyduckgames.com for any general inquiry.
Awesome. I just put those in the chat too, so everyone can find them and get them. We do, as always, we record these and put them onto YouTube as well. So we'll make sure to have that in the information for retailers who are watching it post the live launch here as well. So good stuff. Awesome. Well, Anthony, thank you very much. This has been really good. There's been a lot of information shared in a short period of time, but really, really cool stuff. Wilson says, thanks, Wilson, North Carolina just isn't big enough to sell 5 copies of a game. I understand different areas for sure being bigger or being smaller. Anthony is in the mecca of entertainment in Boise, Idaho. So he's very familiar with the largest game stores in the world, right, Anthony?
We're the 3rd largest city in the Pacific Northwest.
Boise. I know, yeah. It's good stuff. You do have some great stores there too, for sure.
If you would like my assistance in any way, shape, or form, if I can ever help you in any way sell more games in Wilson, North Carolina, please get a hold of me. I'm happy to help in any way I can.
That's great. That's great. Well, retailers, again, as always, thank you very much for taking the time to join us on these. Your feedback and your participation is greatly appreciated. Anthony, thank you for taking time to, out of your schedule to tell everybody about everything going on, and appreciate the surprise announcement about the new game coming, which is great news and good stuff. Again, as a reminder for retailers, that is getting set up right now. So if you don't see it in the system today, should be online later today. Worst case, early tomorrow morning, we'll have that set up for being able to be ordered and pre-ordered as well. But with that, thank you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful week in your stores, and happy selling.